Hi there, this is Mary Humphrey of Mary Humphrey Coaching. Welcome to my channel. You know, sometimes life just teaches us the best lessons. I was working on a newsletter for a client, and it just seemed overwhelming to me. No matter what I did, I felt like I couldn't find a place to get started on this newsletter. I was looking at the images and thinking about the topics, and I was thinking, well, how do I tie the topics into the images? And I started looking for images before I even began to write. And I'm a writer. So all of a sudden it dawned on me, I need to take my own coaching advice. Meaning, when you look at the really big picture, sometimes it can feel overwhelming. And sometimes what we need to do is step back and take a look at what can we do that is just a small step forward, a very small step, one step at a time. So that's what I did. So I decided to look at what I needed to write about for each section of the newsletter. But I also removed the whole entire concept of, well, I need to remember dates and the whats and the whys. I just sat down and wrote like I was having a conversation on that newsletter. And then it clarified to me. It wasn't such a hard job anymore, because what I was doing was looking at small little pieces of conversation. I was no longer focused on how do I pretty this up with images plus write out what I need to write out, what message I need to get across. And then it all fell into place. Once I got the writing done, and we included events or dates for events and times, and then I knew what the gist was of that piece of conversation. The images, I found those really easily, and everything just flowed from there forward. So there's so many things in our life where we can make our lives feel less stressful and less anxious if we don't look at the really big picture. So I'm going to give you some more examples of this. I'm a writer, and I write a lot of blogs for therapists, for autistics, and for people with dementia. And I am not trained as a life coach on these topics. I'm not trained as a virtual assistant on these topics. I'm not trained as a writer on these topics, but I have studied these topics enough to where I have a general flow of things. And once you've done a lot of studying and a lot of research, you start picking up on certain patterns. But what you have to do is, if you sat and you squirmed around on what is this one big article, how am I going to write this? I don't even know where to get started. You get started with an outline. If you were talking to somebody, and I'm not referring to just the writing piece here. What I'm getting at here is, this is how you look at what overwhelms you in life. What piece of this makes sense to you? Where do you start with square one? If you're going to explain this article or this topic to someone, where do you get started? Well, first you connect with the person. You connect with their pain point. You connect with the problem that they're having. Next, you explain how it became a pain point and why it's a pain point and the importance of that. Then you might get into, well, is there anything that I can do to make this better? So as you see, it's an outline. You're not going into right away the whole entire description. You're going into, this section's going to be the pain point. The next section is going to be how the pain point came about. The next section is going to be, yes, there's things you can do to prevent this pain point. Yes, there's things you can do to fix this pain point. These are the tips that we can give you to fix them. And finally, at the end of your article, and again, I'm not specifically referring to just writing. I'm referring to how you can break things down in your mind to make them simpler to follow. And finally, the last point is we're here to help you. Please contact us. Now, you can do this as well with the problem that you're having, say, with your husband. You're really upset because he's upset. Maybe he's having problems at work. It may feel overwhelming because you have a heart, you have empathy. But you have to break it down then and say, what can I do? The one thing you can do is respect him, and you can hold him up, and you can support him, and let him know that he has your full support. But then the other thing you can do is pray. Is there anything you can do today? Still take care of yourself and still be in the place where you need to be in your marriage and in your life, and take care of the things that you are responsible for. But what can you do today to hold your husband up, to help him get through the situation that he's currently in? You don't come up with a list of 15 things that you can do for him. That would be extremely overwhelming, and it would be wrong on your part. So you do the very best that you can do. You narrow down to what can you do, and then you have to release it. Again, take your small steps. Break it down into small chunks. It may feel like a big, overwhelming, wow, this is going on day after day after day. Or, wow, I'm facing these projects that I don't know how to handle. Oh my goodness, my child's going through this one particular thing. What small things can you do? What small things should you and can you not do? Should you not do and can you not do? And look at it as, break it down into small, chewable bites. And I know that sounds like an old adage, but that's exactly what it is. What can you chew? You can't take the whole thing in and swallow it. You'll choke on it. But you can break it down into pieces that you can manage. And there's nothing better than that in life when it comes to problem solving. Tackle what you can tackle, figure out what you can tackle, and do just that. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you found it helpful, please click like. I hope you subscribe, and have a beautiful day. God bless.